Hey everyone, if you watch my videos, you may have seen me use this knife to open up boxes and tape and stuff like that. I like the knife, it works fine. But so I thought I'd buy another one and review it. This one's been used so much, I don't think the edge is as sharp as it could be. And you can literally see how weathered this piece has become. I think this one has a titanium body. Anyways, so here's the listing I bought it from, and they sell all sorts of other knives as well. So this one was literally, it was $3. So delivered if you order over $10 of stuff, at least where I live. Your price might differ. So let me try to find the specs on this one. These knives are great, by the way. I reviewed this one here, I think, and you can replace these X-Acto number 11 blades. So that's nice to have a replaceable blade. Alright, this I would avoid because that swept knife edge makes it want to come out of cuts. It's also just more difficult to open boxes. It might be fine for everyday carry and whittling and stuff like that, but if you want to cut boxes, you want a straight edge like a utility knife. So I don't know if it's this one. I think it is this one. Brass C. Let me zoom in on this thing. Alright, so I guess the question is, if it weighs 9 grams, that's probably this one. Or maybe I'll just have to measure it because that listing's a little confusing, right? Alright, so here it is, showed up in the mail. Should be a brand new edge. We'll see how good it is right out of the bag here. It's got some sort of brass looking keychain ring. I don't know if it's really brass or not though. Maybe it's plated. I'm not going to use it myself, but I suppose you might, so let me open this as well. Turn the scale on. So brass should be heavier than titanium. It's 8 grams, but with this, yes, 9.5, so maybe those numbers are correct, but it's not too hard to measure this stuff, so 10.5 wide, closed, 32. Overall thickness would be around 7, and then open this up all the way. That blade length is around 16, and the blade thickness is around 1.4, and the overall open length is 47.3. Okay, so you saw it's got these dimples in there, and I guess, well, you can kind of see on the back side these lightning holes and stuff like that. It's just probably a spring inside this thing. There's a spring pushing a ball bearing, and that ball bearing rests in those 3 dimples. So you just basically have to overcome the force of the spring that's holding that ball bearing in place. It's not much force necessary, but I don't think you'll open accidentally in your pocket, because you still, here, maybe if I take this plastic toothpick, you'll see how much it bends it, see? So that's how much force it needs to move. I don't have a scientific way to measure that, but I don't think it's going to open in your pocket by accident. Alright, so let's do the paper cut first here. This is pretty thick printer paper, copy paper. Let me try to pull this edge. Nope. Nope. Let me try this side. I'll flip it over. Nope. Alright, so it's not very good at cutting thin materials. Oh, maybe there. Or let me just pierce this. So it's kind of tearing the paper, I think partially because the blade is so thick. But what I like about this thing is the dagger tip, right? So if you're going to be cutting tape in boxes and stuff like that, right, it's very easy to pierce the tape and then go both directions since the thing has 2 edges, right? So you can pierce very easily, go both directions if you want. So I think it does a decent job cutting up tape and stuff like that. Because the blade is kind of thick, it might be difficult. And also, I think it might push the blade back in, but let's see what happens. I'm just gonna... Yeah, see? It does put a little cut in there, but... So, if you want to actually cut something, you're going to have to put your thumb there to keep that thing from coming back. Then it is quite easy to pierce because you have two relatively sharp edges, right? It's a dagger. Now cutting this way, maybe you'd hold it like this. It does a decent enough job, but it has to displace that cardboard, you know, because of the thickness of the blade. So it's not as good, you know, it's not as good as a standard utility knife or a hobby knife. But I don't think, you know, I don't think it's trying to compete with that. It's meant to be a keychain knife. Alright, well, cutting wood is probably not its intention either. Since I'm just pushing this way, I'm not sure if I even need to hold that button anymore. Well, you can definitely shave off wood, but it doesn't... Well, let me try to really force it in. Oh, you don't want to do that. Yeah, so I don't think this is the best for whittling, because for whittling and stuff, I kind of feel like you want to have a curved blade for whittling, and you want a flat edge, at least for precise whittling, because you want to push it with the other hand, right? See, I can literally use the force of my other thumb to really gouge into that wood. But that's gonna be hard to do when you have an edge there. Like if you could do this, but you don't have much purchase down here, and if your finger slips and goes there, you're gonna be bleeding. So I would not recommend this for you know, whittling and stuff like that. I think its key advantage is its ability to pierce stuff, and then you can move it left and right if you wanted to. So that's why I've been using it for a while. Oh, this is actually quite a different design. Interesting. The blade seems identical. This also has 3 notches. But, well, you know what? Maybe this blade is longer. Yeah, it's a bigger knife. If I put the dots here in the same horizontal, you can see how much longer it is. And that would probably explain why these dimples are tightly packed compared to this one. So if you are curious, let's see what the weight difference is between this larger brass with these lightning holes versus the solid back titanium body. Yeah, titanium, this is 5 grams. It's a smaller knife and it's titanium, so yeah, back to that. That's a pretty significant savings, but still, 8 grams is quite light, so I think you could have this on your keychain. But if you can find this one, this is ultra light, and it still has the same features, I would say, same functions. The only issue, you know, is you're gonna eventually have to sharpen this, and it's sharpened on both sides. It's not one edge, so that's gonna be a disaster. I don't have the skill set to sharpen these things, so that's why I guess I'm continuing to review them as I buy new ones. Anyways, I do like either one. Just bear in mind, it's going to get dull sooner or later. Okay, well, hopefully that helps you decide if you want to get it or not. And we will see you in the next small knife review.